Hello, Alex. How are you?
I'm good, Conan. This is awesome. Hey, Sona.
Hi.
Okay, I just have to comment on this because I'm looking at Alex. You're, of course, all listening, but Alex is. Sona, I think it's fair to say this is a very handsome man.
Yeah.
This is.
You were taken aback by it. I kind of noticed that you saw him and you were like, "Oh,
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not my fault.
We're on Zoom, and I got rattled for a second and just instinctively tried to kiss him. And then realized, well, it's a Zoom. And
They're a little hard, with the computer screen and the internet and the cables and stuff.
Yeah, and then there's the whole wife, and she's like, "Well, what's that all about?" And I'm
That
like,
would get
"Well,
awkward,
come on, you always
also
suspected, and then
it's also just very inappropriate to just meet someone right away and then just try to kiss them.
you hear
That's
that.
also kind of weird.
I consider it brave.
Well, it's popular in Europe.
Okay.
Let's get to the crux of the matter. Alex here, fine looking fellow, and you look like you're wearing like safari gear.
Constantly. I looked at the available wardrobe options in Life and said, full Steve Irwin, let's go. So
That's cool. Yeah,
khaki
you
every
have
day.
a Steve Irwin. You have a Steve Irwin vibe, and also I'm looking at your room behind you, and it looks like you've got really cool stuff. It looks like you're living in a very cool space.
This is our house. It's built in 1918, so zero insulation. But we filled it with this weird. My wife is a very patient woman. I've just filled it with my brain everywhere, so she puts up with a lot.
Got it. Very nice. Now tell us what you do. First of all, what part of the world are you in? What do you do? Tell us about yourself.
I'm in Sonoma, California, and I'm a anthropologist and professional safari guide.
Oh, you are a safari guide. Mm-hmm. Hence this. Oh, so the safari gear is. Yeah, you've earned it. It's not an affectation. You're a safari guide, so that you should be having and owning clothes like that. Where do you lead safaris?
Mostly South Africa.
Oh,
have you been?
I've never been on to South Africa. I've never been on a safari. I've never seen any African animals. I'm intrigued by the whole thing. Tell us what that's like. So, how long have you been doing this for?
So I kind of backpedal, I guess. I've been doing this for about 5 years, but I've been working in the public speaking arena as a park ranger for about 10 years off and on. I started with the California State Parks. Eventually just decided, because it's been like a lifelong obsession, Africa is where I want to go. As a kid, it was always African stories, African movies, African adventure tales, that kind of stuff.
Also, they just win in every animal category.
100%. So, you can't beat it.
Look, what are you going to, look, there's another brown bear. there's, there's the same kind of snake we saw 2 days ago and the day before that. It gets old. But in Africa, you've hit the jackpot, right?
Well, I think it's perspective, because if people from there came here, they'd be like, "Oh my God, a bear!" But
no, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
Are you sure?
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah,
they wouldn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, they wouldn't.
Elephant, bear.
Anyone who grew up seeing elephants, bears, rhinos, giraffes. I'm sorry, you say it's perspective, but it's not. They would come here and go, "Oh, look, a squirrel. How terrifying." And then they would laugh in our faces.
They have squirrels in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they're 60 feet tall.
They are. They're actually known for that, and big, sharp teeth.
Yes. They're more of a velociraptor than a squirrel there. But anyway, so you lead these tours, and you are... What's that like? You're taking people. I've never been on one. I've always wanted to go. But are you the guy that's driving the Land Rover with no, hood on it? No ceiling on it, roof. Are you the one that's driving the Land Rover right up to the rhino?
Yeah.
Like getting a little too close?
Totally. I started doing that and then have now evolved to, very smartly, in March of 2020, started my own safari company. Great time to start a travel company. Kind of shifted roles from being primarily the guy driving the truck to now it's more of a hosting role. My job is to entertain the guests, make them feel comfortable, happy, just bring them through their whole experience. But ultimately, the guy physically driving the car and showing people wildlife. And I have to say, I've learned so much about doing my job from listening to you guys on this podcast, because when you guys start talking about comedy and stand-up, I'm like, all of that is exactly what I'm doing, because it's all based in live performance. You're in front of people and it's making people happy. It's making people engaged and, try to laugh at something or feel like they're being entertained. So I've learned a hell of a lot about my job from you guys.
Okay, I have to say, Alex, no one has ever said that they've learned anything from this podcast.
I'm the first thing.
And I think this is a real mark of your low character.
It is.
How am I going to? No, I'm sorry. I mean, do you get scared when you're driving up to these incredibly unpredictable animals that can kill you in half a second? Do you have fear or no?
No, I'm going to go with the macho answer. No, I have no fear. Sure. I mean, it's once you get comfortable around big animals that you start to realize you can read patterns, you can read their behaviors. You know, they're just like us. So it's more about personal space at that point. Like, you don't want to get right up next to something if you don't have to. You got to read what it's doing. It's hard to translate to people that have maybe never seen it because, you know, you're talking about a 10,000-pound elephant and people automatically are like, oh my God, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. But it's also the most majestic thing you've ever seen. And now I'm going to take you in a car and get as physically as close to it as I possibly can just to freak you out. Because if I've got my A game on, I'm reading the animal, I'm understanding what's happening while still giving it enough space to feel comfortable.
Have you ever completely misread an animal?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Like, you're like, trust me. This water buffalo is not vibing me at all. He seems really, whoa, I'm sorry. Well, you're dead.
I've had weird encounters, like when I was at Guiding Academy. So that was 2 months of living in the bush in a small pup tent and total immersive experience. They want you exposed every single day to just anything that could go wrong. So snake in the tent, been there, done that. No water in camp, been there, done that. I got up one night to go to the bathroom, which we had like latrines built outside. And It was one of those moonlit nights. You're under that just epic African starry sky. And, you know, spider senses tingle and you're like, what is that shadow? And I look and there's just a lion standing there about 8 feet away from me. And we're both equally freaked out by each other. So it was this weird moment of like, I'm going to go my way if you go your way. And I just zipped the tent up and peed my pants.
Oh my God.
Well, mission accomplished then.
Yeah.
You headed out there
Either way.
to urinate.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Well, I'm sorry. My main question was going to be, did you eventually get to empty the urine? And he answered my question.
Okay.
So
empty the urine.
What other, I mean, so you've not been attacked. You've not been charged. You've pretty much had a charmed life as a safari guide.
Well, no, that's not to say that. There's been situations that could get ugly fast. And everybody says animals, oh, that's a dangerous animal. And I'm like, is it though? I mean, any person could be dangerous. Instead, I'd rather call animals hazardous. And again, it's about reading them. So I've been in situations where we haven't, and I wasn't the one driving, but we haven't correctly read what was happening and been charged by things. And usually that's kind of a, hey, you're up in my business moment, that kind of thing. I've been stalked by leopards on foot. I've had crazy situations with rhinos. And it's more of like it's like a gamble. Like you chose to be in that environment. So I
love how you're being kind of vague. You said crazy situations with rhinos. And you're not specific. So to me, that means maybe you got in on a timeshare with a rhino and it didn't financially turned out to be like a bad move. And the rhino's like, no, I'm using it Memorial Day weekend. And you're like, no, we talked about this. You used it. No, this is completely, you can't have Memorial Day and Labor Day. And the rhino's like, hey, what the fuck? You didn't say anything. So I'm assuming it wasn't a timeshare problem with the rhino.
That's usually the way it goes down. No, my favorite, and I don't know, favorite's a weird term there, was in Guiding Academy of all things. We were out learning about guiding people on foot, which is a whole other experience because you're vulnerable, you're, totally exposed. And our instructor stopped to look at a tree and he's going on and on. It's an ancient leadwood tree. Leadwoods live for hundreds and hundreds of years. So he's talking about it and we're all fascinated. And then wasps started coming out of it and stung my leg, which felt kind of like having a cigarette lighter just shoved into your skin.
Right.
Oh.
So my leg starts swelling. I can't walk. And there's a saying in South Africa, which is TIA. This is Africa. Just go with it. So our instructor looked at my leg and went, TIA, we're going to go find a black rhino. So I'm hobbling on the trail to find this black rhino, which we did find. And I would have to say that's probably been the most frightening experience of my life because black rhinos.
So you got... Okay, so I'm sorry. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, black rhinos are known for being a little bit more territorial, whereas a white rhino is going to be kind of chill most of the time. The joke is the chubby unicorn. So to find a black rhino on foot, totally exposed with a swollen leg with a wasp sting in it, I was like, if this dude freaks out, I'm not going to make it back to camp.
Oh my God, you are so cool.
Well, now listen.
That is so. Don't you want to, Conan? Do you want to kind of want to be Alex a little bit?
I was going a different way, Sona. I mean, I think Alex is cool, but I think I encounter dangers like that all the time in my life.
No, you
Alex,
don't. Nothing like that.
On my show over the years.
Oh my God.
No, a celebrity comes out. I have to read that celebrity.
No.
I have to figure out. Is Will Ferrell, is Carmen Electra, are these people in the right mood? And they attack occasionally.
No, they
you
don't.
and I have both dealt with the exact same level of danger.